Greetings, guys. Welcome now to the brand new episode of Redemption from Norton. I'm your host, MrYazMan300, and joining me once again is Kai and Lee. How are you doing, Kai and Lee?
Hi, I'm fine, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm doing well.
yeah. It's been a long time, man. I think the last
Oh
Yeah.
episode
yeah.
I did with Kai, we
Very
did
well.
the top 10 film of the year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and Lee, I think
Yeah, half a
you
year
and I,
ago.
we did, what was it, Surf Ninja, or we did also something else?
Surf. We definitely did Surf Ninja.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time. Yeah.
Yep, it's been a while.
I also like to apologize to our listeners and viewers that we've been busy a lot with I could not even create more episode after the top 10 episode, and we feel because things already got changed. Like I know like in this country now the COVID things as now is different. More people now are getting more free time to do stuff, and
I'm basically doing the same thing as usual
Yeah.
on Saturdays. So
yeah, yeah, because that's
the thing is, the thing is for me, for example, my friend circle
Yeah.
is still like disconnected. They're living someplace here, someplace
Yeah.
there. Most of them gotten children throughout the year, so it's very difficult to get together at that point. So at that point, we were saying like, let's stick with the Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
So we're basically
Yeah.
doing the same thing as
we're gonna
as
grow up
we've
and
been
have
doing
children, and
during
we'll see
COVID.
less time. That's everyone is becoming a parent right now. I mean, who recently just announced he's becoming a parent?
Who?
Because I know the last person I heard was the wrestler, like Bliss. She announced she's becoming a mom. Has it anyone else from like a gaming industry? Someone came out and said they're going to be a parent. Oh,
I mean, I'm sure.
Rihanna.
Maybe.
What's his name? Danny, who sometimes who used to be on G4. What's his name?
I don't know.
What's good game? What's his name? Rihanna. I think Manuel.
Oh,
Yeah, you know her. She announced that she and Dan are having a baby. That's what I
Yeah?
was thinking of.
what happens when you get older? Everybody has babies.
Yeah. And don't worry, this isn't the podcast explaining where do babies come from. That's another podcast. We should have,
So you're trying to branch out.
this, yeah. Man, for that
Fun-
podcast, I should have Andy on it. He's an expert on it. He's gonna enjoy it. Yeah. Come to think about it, do I know anyone who actually a parent? I can't think of anyone. I mean, unless Joe has a child we don't know about. Or-
I don't think so. I got plenty of friends with their parents.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's enough without making people not feeling old right now. So how are you guys doing, man?
I'm not saying that I'm getting 41 in 2 weeks, but speaking of getting older,
You're giving now more ammunition for Andy right now if you listen to that.
that's the thing. I wanted to get like the firing position that he has regarding Mark, like drawn to me, but so far it's not working.
Let him do all the jokes and roasting us for our age. One day a young kid will do the same to him. Then we'll be laughing at him.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
most certainly.
Yeah.
It's like when I was like 10 or so, I always made fun of my father who just became 30. Like, you're getting old. Let's just say it like that. 20 years later, when I got 30, like the joke switched. Like, oh, you're getting old as well.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes because I think what was it like a few weeks ago when I was shaving, I noticed like I have a small tiny hair right here on my beard, like I think it looked like the white hair, and I'm actually in my 30s.
Yep. You can gray whenever.
Yeah.
Some people gray in their teens, even actually.
And hey,
Yeah.
what's his name? Steve Martin? Like he actually his hair was white, and he looked sexy until today. Yeah. I mean, heck, if I
Yeah,
look
he
like
looked the-
Steve
he's looked the
Martin,
same.
I'll be happy for it, and I'm going to embrace it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can all be as lucky as looking at like Steve Martin.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Have you guys been watching Only Murders in the Building?
Oh,
yeah,
no,
really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus, I think, Kai, on the outside
Yeah,
of the US.
it is.
Because I said
Yes, on Hulu
Yeah, hold on.
here.
They've got a great cast for the next season. Mercy, Paul Rudd.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're getting big names for the show. Because I think last thing they had, what's her name, from Valerian, the movie Valerian, the Thousand Planet. She was also the sorceress in Suicide Squad.
Cara
Yes,
Delevingne.
that's her, Cara Delevingne. Because she's friends with Selena Gomez in real life. That's why. Yeah, I've been watching this and also been watching now mostly animes. Because this week now we got the final episode for this season. What was it? Demon Slayer and Villain Saga season 2.
Mm.
Yeah, 70-minute episode for Demon Slayer.
Dang, that's a long episode.
Yeah, because I know that season premiere I think was 40 minutes if I'm not mistaken. Kai was like, "What are you talking about?"
No idea.
You should watch Villain Saga.
been-
It's actually you might enjoy. It's a Viking actually anime, and it's on Netflix. You don't actually to subscribe to Crunchyroll.
I have so much other stuff to watch.
There's a lot-
Yeah,
I mean,
There's a lot to
of
watch.
course- yeah, of course, I've been watching like
Star Trek.
several episodes of Star Trek
Yeah,
in the last couple of months.
Because they premiered the new season of Strange New World, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first episode launched 2 days ago.
Do you want to give us
and,
like a quick spoil? What did you thought of it?
I liked it. It wasn't really like so the bar for the first season was very, very high. I wasn't really like all in for the first episode. But it's I'm really like looking forward to episode 7 of the season because it's going to be probably the crossover with Lower Decks, and this is going to be bonkers because like if you've been watching Lower Decks, notice the animated show.
Yeah, that's with Jack Quaid, right?
Yes, and Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome, who's playing Ensign Beckett Mariner, they are appearing in live action.
Is Jerry O'Connor going to appear in the episode or not?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
But
maybe he'll be in the
would
garden
be like,
from the.
no, this would be the ultimate crossover because all you know that his wife is actually playing number 1 in
Oh,
the
that's
show.
right. I forgot.
Yeah, so this would have been like the whole like I mean the couple itself is like both of them are number 1s in their respective Star Trek shows,
Yeah.
so it's quite funny
Yeah.
to have this connection.
Yeah, what else
Cool.
is there? Because I think if I'm mistaken, they're ending most of the shows, right? They're ending because Picard I know
No.
ended, and this is this.
Yeah, Picard just ended. I mean, I have to say, whenever you have the possibility to watch season 3 of Star Trek Picard, go watch it. If you have been
Everyone I
watching,
know who
like,
saw it, who actually both
Next
fans and not
Generation.
fans of the previous season, they said this is the best of the all seasons. I heard.
Yes, it's basically it's the Next Generation movie that we never got, and we got 4 movies. But
Does
it's
Will Wheaton
like,
appear in it?
no.
Ah,
But that's okay because he was in the season finale of the second season,
oh.
just like for a small insert. But let's just say like that. If you have been watching the entire season, it's like beat after beat after beat after beat, and by episode 9, whenever you have like getting back to places you haven't seen like for the last 30 years, there are some tears rolling. It's not really happening on screen, it's your own tears.
I think a lot of people are praising it because what's his name? Terry Mattel, because he's a huge Star Trek fan.
Yes.
A lot of people are praising that he's
Yes.
actually the reason why the season worked well.
It was actually quite funny because he was actually on screen, or actually visible in one of the episodes of Star Trek Enterprise, actually the finale of Star Trek Enterprise, because he was I think he was the assistant to Brandon Braga, who was a producer back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was actually, they were saying like he was giving scripts to Jerry Ryan back in Voyager days. So he has been
That's
like
not to me
friends with
how
her.
screenwriters actually they became screenwriters because they mostly work as assistant, etc.
Yeah, exactly. But it's quite interesting because the last couple of years, most of the Star Trek franchises have been like in Canada. They've been like in their own separate universe, and for this they also went for production in LA itself, and they basically got most of the uh, behind the scenes crew back from like the Next Generation crew. So whenever you have like the so-called okudograms, whenever you have like this LCAR structure, it's basically them again. So they really went back to the art stylists from the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, that kind of era, and bringing them back and getting new ships, new overlays, basically an upgraded version of like how a Starfleet ship looks like, and it's really beautiful. And for the first time, like if you're seeing like old screens in the background, so they were always like backlit, like place something in front of it and then light it from behind, and now it's LCD screens, and then you can do anything, whatever. Otherwise, you would have to do it in post, which was very infeasible back in the day. Or you have like a small LCD or like actually normal TV, just like in the background where they can project something in it. So it really changed, like from a production standpoint, the whole kind of functionality of the script of the set. So it's quite nice.
How about you, Lee? Have you been watching anything recently?
I mean, not really. Went and saw Kiki's Delivery Service at the theaters, because Studio Ghibli's do like that special thing where they release some of them in the theaters. Otherwise, I watch a lot of Simpsons, stuff like that.
Yeah, I have no issue.
Yeah, obviously Spider-Verse and all that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I've actually done a very long podcast yesterday about it, and well, we had lots of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's a great movie, Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the VOD release actually.
Yeah,
I haven't been in theater since that goddamn Harrison Ford and the CG dog movie.
Oh god,
I don't even know that one.
Call of the Wild, I think it was called. That was the last movie I saw theatrically.
Yeah, I think you would have to really like freeze frame one frame by another, because there's so much happening on screen in this movie. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
There's gonna be quite a few video essays about this movie.
I mean, funnily enough, you have like all these YouTube channels with like 1,000 Easter eggs you have seen, and most of them like say, okay, we've seen this one, we've seen this one. So like the obvious ones, and they are already like 40 minutes long, even if they don't have like the source material, just to scrap out the images, and they only have like the trailer images, the pre-release stuff, some pre-release scenes, and maybe the one like screener that got leaked and stuff like that. And I'm really looking forward like the second round of those kind of videos whenever the VOD is coming out. There's a lot of, I mean the amount of Spider-Man inside is,
and just the details.
Like, the details of it. Yesterday we've been talking about like the Hobie, the Spider-Punk, that like his head is animated differently, like his whole body, and just like the idea of Punk getting translated to how he's being animated is like mind-boggling to me. But it's really amazing to watch it on screen.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to wait for when it's on VOD to see.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I think he's doing it because I think Sony might have to wait. I think maybe 6 months, etc. for it, because they don't release it very soon unless the movie's underperforming. That's why it's like, what is it? Shazam 2 and Fast X, they got released very quickly on VOD.
It really depends, actually.
Yeah.
I think Disney had like
They
during
stopped
the
doing it.
pandemic, like the idea. Yeah. They had like this 45-day like interval where
Yeah.
they waited 1 month and a half until they release it on VOD. And right now it's, I think, getting back to 90
Yeah,
days.
because they did it. I think
Um,
it depicts. What was it? I don't know how. I think
so
it might.
I
They
mean,
did it with Ant-Man. Ant-Man, I think, was the first Marvel movie that
yeah,
got the 90 days.
Ant-Man, they also like changed the way how, so they also had like the during the pandemic the idea of releasing VOD on Disney Plus
But you have to pay
and
for it.
on iTunes and stuff like that on the same day. And right now it's, I think they switched it back to like releasing it after 2 months on VOD and
Then
then
stream.
1 month later after that then on
Yeah,
streaming.
that's how I saw, because this month what Avatar 2 got released, and I remember before
Yeah.
a month ago I noticed it on VOD before it went
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
streaming.
But it's making sense that they've
Yeah.
been waiting like half a year until they released it on
streaming.
VOD and for streaming, because this movie is fucking banking money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's better
Good.
to
I
release
mean,
it
they-
first on VOD before streaming. That's why you can make more money out of VOD before streaming.
but for
Yeah.
me it's like I'm still waiting another month because then the 3D version is coming out, which I heard is actually coming out. It's
Which
basically
movie for
one
the
of
3D?
Avatar 2.
3D. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Did they
I
still
didn't
make
watch it on
3D Blu-rays or not?
That's the thing. They don't really do this anymore, and it seems like
Because I think
Avatar 2
internationally they
is
are releasing
one
it,
of
but
the
the
last
US they
ones.
don't, right? I don't think internationally they release it.
I don't know. At least they have some delay in it.
Because I know was it the PS3 they used to play 3D games, like I think Uncharted 3, that's
Yeah.
one of the 3 games that you can play it on 3D.
Yeah.
Do you still have a
Wow.
3D TV, Kai?
Yes, and I'm sticking with it. I'm not going.
Good for you.
I'm still one. I'm still one of those guys who are saying like, I'm not buying a 4K TV because I'm still having like 3D movies to watch. So yeah, I'm one of those guys.
Wait, and the
Sticking-
moment you get the
sticking
4K,
in the last
the
generation.
8K will get released. That's
Yeah.
what
Nah.
really, man. God, man, what do you think is the biggest size going to be now? Is it for the 4K or there's more?
I'm sure there's gonna be more, but once more comes out, the 4K will drop in price.
The thing
So
is, the thing is like getting the original material, the raw material in 8K native.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is going to be a problem. So I
And I'm
in the
hearing
last
what's the
couple of
Fincher
years,
just
like,
came
Red
out. He
cameras-
confirmed that yes, I'm working on the 4K version of 7, which I'm actually excited for. And he said that he'll make sure that he can make
If-
it look
if you-
good.
if you have the original material in such a way that you can get the resolution out of it, that's okay. But if you're shooting digitally, for example, and you're shooting in 4K, it's getting difficult to upscale it to 8K. Just saying. So you're probably going for shooting in 8K, but that's it's getting difficult at that point. They're already shooting in 8K, but they're basically reducing it or just cropping everything out. But
Yeah.
it's depending on what kind of setting the director and the cameraman actually
Because
does.
now when you use film, because now people say that the negatives are getting damaged very a lot. Because I was watching a video where Scorsese was talking about restoring movie, and he talks about how difficult it is now because he was telling he's championing people to save the negatives of the movie, restoring them.
I mean, it's also like difficult storage wise because sometimes I don't know when it was, like 20 years ago. There was this really big fire going on at one of the Universal Studios.
Yes, I think I heard about this. Well, I think it was Universal.
Lots. They had lots of like original films, raw material just being destroyed there. And,
Remember that you mentioned this? I thought of because this story also came out recently because they fired the producer of Lightyear, and people pointing out this is not just any producer. She's the employee that saved Toy Story 2, because if you remember,
Yeah,
Toy Story 2, got damaged, and then they found out the only copy that they have that's available was a copy of that employee in her house. And
yeah.
people say that, wow,
I mean,
she saved the movie, and that's because now I think the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomato, and now she
yeah.
got fired.
I mean, yeah. That seems like really strange. That must have been something like in the background. But overall, I think I have two stories to tell there at that point regarding films. I mean, one of the things is basically film is getting destroyed more and more.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was like 15 years ago. I was doing a film series for the university, and the idea was to have movies about AI, artificial intelligence, within a movie.
Yeah.
So it was more like AI, like the movie from Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
They had all iRobot. We had 2001. We have Terminator 2, and stuff like that. Wall-E also. Um, However, when we compiled the list of movies, we had some horror stories. What can happen behind the scenes whenever you wanted to show something, and they were telling like stories like there was this seminar on one university for arts in Berlin, and they wanted to show Moulin Rouge,
Oh.
and they were telling me the story in 2007 or 8. I think it was 8, and they were saying that they wanted to have a like a think musical stuff happening, and then they wanted to finish the seminar showing Moulin Rouge, and it ended up at that point they wanted to source one film roll in Europe that had still like Moulin Rouge on it, and they couldn't find it.
Ooh.
And they really had to go like import it from the US, just like just that they were able to show it in cinema for this one occasion that they wanted to show it. So it's really I mean right now everything is getting more digital,
Yeah.
and 2008 2009 was basically the area when they started to transition from film to digital projection. But it was really like difficult just to get this one role for this one occasion. It's really like ancient history right now.
I mean, Nolan's still
Wow.
using it to make a film. You were saying, Glee?
I just said, wow. Yeah, just how long ago it was and how difficult it is to get roles now.
Yeah.
And the other story that I have before we can go back into right now, it's
Now
just
we
like
can talk
me
about that. I think
diverging
people
everything.
will be more excited to hear this than the Hulk.
I think there's this one German movie called Metropolis from 1925.
The Fritz Lang
One
movie,
of the
right?
most exactly one of the most influential German movies from like the 20s, and it's basically a sci-fi story more or less. Very ahead of its time back in the day, and just getting like the original version of the movie, like put together, especially after the war. I still haven't recovered most of those scenes.
Oh.
And there have been sometimes you have a news report saying like we have found a roll of film somewhere like hidden in a storage somewhere that has been like discovered, and it turned out like it contained some bits of this movie that hasn't been found before. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
and they reiterate. So I think it was like 20 years ago when they had something like that, and so they repurposed those things, remastered it again, and then did a remastered version of like included those scenes as well. Because at that point, it's like whenever you wanted to show this scene, you can only like have some inserts like at this scene you could have seen something like this, and this, and just to get like the original intended version of the movie. Otherwise, it's just like a truncated version that has been on at that
Yeah.
point.
It's what happens. What was it with Highlander too? I'm reading about it when Joe and Tracy we did the review. I was reading about how the fact that the movie that first came out theatrical was not the movie that they wanted. Like the Bond company took over the movie and they re-edited the film, and then they had to go back and for the home video they had to re-edit the movie back how to use, and they had to use new footage because they had to film. I
Yeah.
think years later after the movie came out, a new footage with Christopher Lambert and what's his name, Michael Ironside doing a car scene. Basically, it's try to reserve your movies a lot. That's why a lot of people have now issue with those with streaming services now. Movies are getting removed digitally, and you cannot find physical copy. I mean,
Yeah.
what was it,
Mhm.
Barbarian? I think
I mean,
I heard that the movie is not available.
Dogma
Oh,
is
yes.
one of the big ones.
That's,
Ah, you
that's like
can
a
watch-
rights issue,
Yes,
though.
Yeah, but it's like getting the movie. I think there has been one DVD release at some point, or I think it was also the remember when we wanted to do Dredd, Judge
that's
Dredd.
right. Yes,
Yeah, it was really difficult just to get those one.
you got I think the old DVD, right? It wasn't.
Yeah,
very-
yeah. I got the bad DVD,
Yeah.
the worst
Mm.
kind of DVD you could get, which I've never seen before, but somehow.
But it got the job done, right?
No, no,
Oh, that bad. That bad.
no.
Okay.
It was. You have to imagine. Sometimes you would have like the standard like black bars everywhere,
Mhm. Yeah.
but they mastered in such a way that they made a 4:3 version out of it. So whenever you wanted to view it on your like HD TV right now, you are having a 4:3 bar on the left and right side, and of course the 60:9 bars.
So it's just a tiny, tiny speck basically on the
Yes.
TV.
So you're watching a
Yes.
360 resolution movie.
Uh,
That's great.
that's the worst master I've ever seen in a DVD.
Yeah. So what was it? So you talk about, but the Master of the Universe Blu-ray looked good, right?
That was okay. That was okay.
Yeah. God, what was it? Because seriously, because like I mentioned, I think Barbarian, the movie, they got their physical release. I'm still now. It still has a digital release, but no physical release. And that's why people are wanting to say release the physical release for this movie. For reservation or other stuff. I think we've talked enough catching. I think we should start now. But about volleyball, I'm actually happy we talked about something. I know people are more excited to what the Kaita was talking about than the actual movie.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I would love you
Yeah.
guys to hear your guys' thought about it. I think we should begin right now with the movie. So
Yeah.
the movie we're about to talk about and review today is a movie that's celebrating its 20th anniversary this week. Ang Lee's Hawk. So this
Yeah,
movie,
June 20th.
yes, June 20th. Do you guys remember the first time we saw it? Because I actually have a very interesting history about it.
I saw it in the theater back in the day.
What about you,
Yep,
Lee?
I think I saw it on TV on like TNT or TBS
Oh.
for the first time back in the day.
I mean,
Did not remember anything.
Yep. No. I saw it on VHS. I think this is the last time I saw a movie on VHS.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh.
But I didn't see it on tape because I remember because they had actually great teaser. Remember there was a teaser for it, like you see Bruce Banner was like
Yeah.
he's in the bath and he's looking to the mirror. Then
Yeah,
he turns green and then the house gets destroyed. That was like a
Yeah.
great teaser because they were
Yeah,
doing great
I
marketing
think-
with the
I've-
film.
I think they had it really early, like 1 year before, like around when Spider-Man came out.
Yeah, because this
so you
came
had-
out a year after Spider. Because Spider-Man was
Yeah.
last. Because that's also
Yeah.
was celebrated its 20th anniversary last year.
And you had like at the beginning of Spider-Man, you would have like this one scene that you just described, and then like Hulk coming next year,
Yeah.
something like that.
And Spider-Man
Yeah,
had
'cause it's still
the Twin Tower that was removed because of 9/11. Ed.
Ed was the
Yes.
Spider-Man teaser.
Yeah.
That was 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's also like this is the first time that superhero movies started being good because X-Men had recently come out as well, and people were like, "Oh, these are actually,
Yeah.
I actually enjoy these movies and actually enjoy the stories." So yeah, there's definitely some hype around this one, especially Ang Lee coming off
Yeah.
of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
How many Oscars
which
did that
was
movie won? Is it more?
I have no idea.
Because I know it won foreign film and cinematography. I think I was about to check. So like you mentioned, yeah, Ang
Yeah,
Lee, that was like
I'm about to check.
because that's the movie. That's what everyone was excited about because it was like, oh, you got an award-winning director because Ang Lee's already coming, like you said, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's like a big international movie.
It got nominated for 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and 1 Best Foreign Language Film, Best Art Direction, Best Original Score, and Best Cinematography.
So that's 4 Oscars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 Oscars, man. Because I remember
Not
it,
bad.
Also got 4 BAFTAs and 2 Golden Globes.
yeah, that was
I mean, it's
actually,
it's an influential movie. Like people like changed how fight scenes happened based on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
and even like, but it's the same guy who did like the cinematography for the fight sequence for The Matrix, right? This came out first or The Matrix?
Shortly after, I think.
I think because Matrix.
Yeah,
When did Phantom Menace come? Because I think it's the same year Matrix and
It was 1999.
so Matrix came out first.
Yeah, Matrix
Yeah,
came.
Matrix came out in '99. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember it's the same
beginning
year
of
as there was the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a debate like who would win the best visual effect. I think Matrix won over Phantom.
Yeah, by a
Well,
by
as well as
by a
should.
large
Yeah.
margin.
Yeah.
I mean, you had of all the stuff that. God, I mean, Water had such should have won an Oscar just to make Greg happy.
Still thinking about they couldn't make more Matrix movies because they only had this one movie. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah. So like we said now, they got Ang Lee to do this film, and because like you mentioned, Crouching Tiger, they gave him like carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to do with this film. There was no supervision and stuff with this film. Just like, hey, you're Ang Lee, go do whatever you want. And I'm not gonna blame him because look, he did what he wanted to do, and they gave him freedom and stuff. The most of blame for me, I would blame mostly the studio because they gave him the freedom and stuff. They didn't supervise him. It's like, what are you doing, sir? Because some of the stuff that they do in this film is like, okay, what the heck is going on? Especially the editing stuff.
I would say this movie is over edited and way too slow.
Yeah.
Like it honestly felt like everybody was acting as if they were just waking up from a nap.
It reminded me of a
like, the
Shyamalan
scenes are-
film. That's what it felt like. The way they talk and act. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and it just there's too much pausing between lines, not enough like taking out the air in between lines, and it's very weird choices. And also, there's a moment where Sam Elliott is talking, and then suddenly the camera angle changes on his face, like he's on one side of the screen, then he's suddenly on the other side, like mid talking point. At least on Tubi, which is where I watched it.
Yeah.
I think most of the things is also coming from the fact that he tried to do it in a way to make a comic book movie, like a literal comic book movie. That was really like
even the fonts, because you know what font he used for the film, right? That was Comic Sans. He used Comic Sans for the opening title.
Fair.
Oh God.
Definitely. Yeah, the opening sequence. It was definitely felt like, hey, this is gonna be a comic book movie, and I get that that's what he's going for with the editing, but it was too much.
Yeah.
It took away from any of the story and any of the characterization as well.
And that movie, in fact, what I said, there were multiple scripts happening, or they merged too much script together. Then Ang Lee brought his writer as James Shamus, that's his name? Oh, Shamus, I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he brought him to write actually the final script. I think the other two screenwriters, they got credited because of the stuff they bought from their script for the movie.
I was looking through the list. It's a very long list, and it also contains persons like J.J. Abrams, who was involved in some point, Zach Penn, who would later on
Right, the Incredible Hulk for
Incredible Hulk and the Avengers movie. Also, David Hayter was involved at some point.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, apparently I think I heard. I don't know. He hated that thing, the script that Hayter wrote. I think one of the directors got attached.
Yeah.
Because he's coming writing here from writing the X-Men. Because what I understand, he wrote
And
I
I-
think the final script for that movie.
and I think most of the times, I mean the difference or the difficulty with the Hulk property is basically you're not only like making a comic book movie that is like in reference to the comic book per se, it's also more like the continuation or like a new iteration of the TV show that was happening
Yeah.
in the late 70s.
Because they
So
started, because I
most
was
of
reading about they started production right after, what was it, that last TV movie with Bill Bixby and Lou
Yeah.
Ferrigno ended.
yeah, I mean they've really tried to get something running over the 90s, and you still have like this whole thing of like the Hulk, or in that case Bruce / David Banner
Oh, that's right,
walking
they changed his name in
around.
the TV show.
Yeah, there was also this whole renaming thing happening.
I think I read some. I don't know if it's
for
true.
the-
They say that they changed because they felt like it's not manly. The word Bruce.
Yes,
Yes.
they were explicitly saying that the given name Bruce was gay, and
Well,
so
tell
they
that to
went for
Batman.
David Banner. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, something like that. But it was the 70s. Lots of stuff happening over there. But the show was more or less. I don't know whether you've seen any of the TV shows back in the day.
Yeah, I saw the episode where he fights a bear and he throws it.
Yeah, that was something. Right? It really felt more like a TV show in a sense of what later becoming like the A-Team or Knight Rider. You have this like lone man running around, and you're having like this situation of the week kind of thing where something happens and he happens to be there. And then suddenly he's getting angry, and you don't want like him when he's angry, and he's hulking out. Then you're getting like the transition to Lou Ferrigno,
Yeah.
and then whoa. There's just
Yeah.
also
And
this
And I've
one
read somewhere that
funny-
apparently they were not allowed to show the Hulk out because of budget stuff. And keep in mind, that's
Yeah.
a tall guy who sprayed with green paint and greening a green wig. It's not the CG stuff.
Yes.
And they didn't
Yes.
were limited to use them in the TV show.
Yes. I mean, it was 70s. When the thing is, I was growing up with this iteration of the Hulk, so I was
Everyone I
very
think grew up. That's what made the reason why they had to make a TV show, because everyone grew up with this
Yeah.
TV show, and it was popular. Just
Yeah.
like it made sense for them to do it, the Hulk movie.
Yeah, and the thing that really bothered me in a sense, because I wasn't really actually reading the comics back in the day. Whenever you have like a home-sized Hulk running around, which is the Hulk that we know right now,
Yes.
basically from all the Avengers movies, like this 9-foot giant. Whenever he's like in his Hulk form, I wasn't really known. I didn't really know about this kind of Hulk. I was really intimidated when you really had this like large persona then afterwards, because I really thought of like him as a bodybuilder at that point, because
just
of
the
how
show, yeah.
Lou Ferrigno was portraying him.
Yeah, because I would say that when this movie started, I thought I was watching the wrong movie because it's open, I think, with African pipe music. I was like, did I watch the wrong movie?
Oh, that's the right one.
Because that's the thing. Because the
Um,
music, some part of later, it turns into a Middle Eastern music when they're the desert. Just like was
That's the thing.
was
They
Danny
really
Elfman
changed.
scoring a
they-
Middle Eastern war
they-
movie? And he was like, I don't know,
they-
maybe he
they-
saw this.
they-
And it's like he accidentally put it.
They changed it on the last minute, actually.
wait, the
so
music?
I was at yes. I was reading yesterday through the entire article, and they were saying like that he came in 45 days before the movie was released.
So
on the
that's like
very
Michael
last.
Giacchino with Rogue One, right? But he also
Something
came.
similar.
Something.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
came out very
exactly.
late for the movie.
So they had a so Ang Lee went to one of his former collaborators who made the entire soundtrack, and so they had really like his Japanese African influence over there, and they went to show it to the studio, and they didn't really like it. And then at that point, they for some reason went to Danny Elfman because he also scored Spider-Man year before.
Yeah, and Batman.
And the thing is, he really liked what the guy before him did, and he incorporated lots of those influences and lots of those songs into his
So no wonder some of the
actual
music feels like
eventual.
out of place, like feel different. Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
like the African pipe
It's-
music and the Melissa.
Also, I had really the feeling at the beginning it really sounded like Spider-Man at the
Yes.
Yes,
beginning.
the opening.
And
Definitely.
I didn't really had this this feeling when I watched it back in the day. But right now, after again, I'm 41, I really hear this kind of comic book influencey way
Yeah.
that Danny Elfman makes his score.
Yeah, because already now we've done lots of comic book movies, even the theatrical cut for Justice League and Doctor Strange, and I think he did also
Yeah.
some of the second Avenger film. Because he's done some multiple movies.
Oh, he's done plenty of superhero movies for sure. Danny Elfman. But yeah, this whole opening sequence with David Banner, it was just felt very disconnected. Also, David Banner's the worst father of all time.
Was that Cary Ells
it-
playing the dad? Because he looked like him, the younger version.
It wasn't Cary Ells, but actually, I was originally like, that doesn't look like Nick Nolte. But then I looked up Nick Nolte when he was young, and actually, they got an actor that looked just like young Nick Nolte, and so good on them.
Unless you're the actor who plays the young Sam Elliott, because it doesn't look like him at one point.
No,
Because I've
No,
seen
and
young Sam
yeah.
Elliott. Was it Roadhouse? That's how he's supposed to look like.
yeah,
That's the other thing right now. Sam Elliott. I'm actually right now I'm sorry for derailing right now again. The fact is that we are getting in next year Captain America: Brave New World. That's
Yeah, I
the
think they
renamed
delayed it.
version.
I think they delayed
No,
the film.
no, I think they really stuck with it.
No, I
Either
think
way,
they
some
changed
other-
some release date. Let me check.
Yeah, but I think it was this wasn't involved there.
Let me see what's the.
No, the thing is that they had to recast the role eventually again because William Hurt died.
Yeah.
Was Thaddeus Ross in the MCU. But the thing is, they could have also already gone back to Sam Elliott, and he's 2 years younger than Harrison Ford.
See, I don't know. I didn't enjoy Sam Elliott in this role. I think Sam Elliott's voice is too soothing for what Thunderbolt Ross had to do.
Okay.
Like when he was yelling, I did not enjoy it.
No.
Like it didn't seem intimidating to me because his voice is too deep and soothing.
Yeah.
He also, I mean, his characterization felt more like cowboy than
Yeah.
military.
Yeah, I see that.
And I just checked.
But, I mean-
the movie's coming out on July 26th next year. It got delayed from May 3 to July 26th.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so delayed, but not that much.
Yeah, not that much because they delayed to push a lot of movies. Disney
Yeah.
just recently. So you guys were talking, let's say Sam Elliott.
Yeah, they could have gone Sam Elliott, the Sam Elliott way for Brave New World, but of course Harrison Ford is a number.
Yes.
And the rumors
Yeah,
that he
I
might
mean-
be Red Hulk. Did you see his response in interview? Someone
Yeah,
asked him,
I
I was
mean-
like, who the hell's Red Hulk?
Yeah. Harrison Ford
That's-
doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the standard Harrison Ford answer.
Maybe that's how he's look like. He's already Red Hulk, but that's how he looks like Harrison Ford in the movie. It's gonna be just because they're bringing back also Liv Tyler for the movie as Betty.
Really?
Yes, they're bringing her back. I think there's also set for
Oh,
her.
that's great. That's great.
And also, we also arrived on
Nice.
the heels of the news that our Incredible Hulk is coming on Disney Plus. Is it out for
Yeah.
you guys?
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah,
Mm.
because I think still they haven't updated in my country. Okay, so
But yeah, this whole opening was it was very disjointed, and I didn't get the sense that the dad thought of Bruce as a mistake until it gets shown later on in the movie, because like when he just goes into the room and starts yelling at his wife, and they start yelling nothing that you can understand. It just sounds like generic yelling that you would hear in the background of a video game. I didn't understand why that was happening. I don't think that portion was portrayed well.
the opening was very confusing because also like I thought because the way it's shot, because I thought that he infected him with the, but we find out no, it's like he was already infected with the death. Then she got conceived.
Yeah.
That's how Bruce got infected with it.
Yeah,
That's the whole.
I
And that
I
bubble
think
thing when she's giving birth, out of nowhere, it comes out of nowhere. It's like very cartoonish.
yes,
Yeah, I think I was really like puzzled when I watched it back in the day, because you had also like this nuclear explosion back in the day, that also had like some kind of thing, and they never really explained it over there as well. And I
Yeah.
also thought like
Also,
he
how did the
could have
scientists
been
got
cutting
access to
something
a
like that.
nuclear explosion failsafe? That's a question.
The only thing was like this reminded me like several years later, from this nuclear testing facility in Indiana Jones 4,
Mhm.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And afterwards, I think like, yeah, maybe it looks like the same town actually.
I mean,
You're right.
yeah, probably
It's
same
not- I
film
forgot. I
location.
didn't thought about that. The town feels like a nuclear test site.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, so it begins with the flashback we got to see. And another thing, I don't know if you noticed, but the Eric Bana in the movie, I feel like he's acting like Christian Bale in Batman, because of the way when he gets angry, he sounds deep. And this film was fine. It
Yeah.
came out 2 years before Batman Begins, so maybe that was the inspiration for Christian Bale.
maybe, but yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, I don't know why Bannon chose to
I don't
get
know.
all raspy and gravelly just
I don't
where
know
he
if that
started
was
getting
him or if it's
angry.
Ang Lee who tells him, because some of the actors, and like you mentioned, they're not acting well in the movie, and they're actually good actors. Maybe the direction.
Yeah, they're probably directed. Yeah.
yeah.
Because there are some, because I've seen movies sometimes the actors aren't getting directed well, but sometimes an actor stand up because the actor is a pro. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna elevate this material even if it's
Yeah.
not getting well directed or having a bad script. A good example
mean,
recently was The Spirit, the one that Frank Miller directed. All the acting is bad, but Samuel Jackson, he knew that he has a bad material. He's not getting directed. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it my own. I'm gonna have fun with the role. So that's why he a little bit elevated the material despite it being a bad film.
Yeah.
I mean the one scenes that really felt like disjointed for me, like, are the Jennifer Connelly scenes when she really like feels to be like center image and then basically stares into the camera.
Yeah, there's a
Really
lot
feels
of that
like really,
too.
really strange.
Yeah.
And I've read somewhere
that's
that was, I think, because they had multiple cameras, multiple takes, they had them to trade, and I think some of them were confused with what's going on with what's happening.
yeah, and I mean that's partly what I was talking about, like how like it's so slow that so many people had very long close-up shots of them just staring at something. Also, there's a lot of talking on the phone in this movie.
Yeah.
Like two people in different areas, and they're doing like the side by side
Yeah. The comic book panels,
style.
yeah.
But like a lot of just talking, like a lot of people just doing this on the phone, and that's fine every now and then. But not having the actors actually be in the same scene and connecting with each other, that's doing that too much. Really starts to you start to feel it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like there's two actors monologuing on different days of filming.
Yeah.
So what did
I
you
mean,
guys thought
back
of
in the day,
because now in the Hulk story, it's like he gets infected with gamma radiation, but in this one they changed it. What do you guys thought about it?
I mean, there's like with the She-Hulk series that just happened, it's kind of also explained that way. It's like you have to have some sort of predetermined DNA in order to not just die from gamma radiation. Otherwise, you could just gamma radiate everybody and everybody become the Hulk. So in that way, it makes sense. The way it was presented was not done well.
Yeah.
Man. And that scene where he gets infected with the gamma radiation, because it's very weird. It's like, what's it called? This technique that they do it with like the color. What's it called?
No, it's just like invert the image and stuff like, and then basically fade to black.
Yeah. Because they do it later for Nick Nolte in the film.
Yeah. I mean, coming back to the TV show, so basically you would have two different kinds of versions, iterations of how Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk. One of them is like in the comics when he's trying to save Rick Scott, who is in a testing facility. And then like the nuclear explosion happens, and then he basically throws him downwards, and he just like gets all the radiation blown onto him.
They did it similar with the movie, I think, because the Incredible Hulk, they did like the TV show. That was like a nod to the TV show.
Exactly. That's the second thing. You have the TV show where you have like this deliberate experimenting phase, and when you're looking at the beginning of the Incredible Hulk, you'll also like see the like set up how he's getting radiated
because
by gamma.
Edward Norton, he loves the Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno TV show.
Yeah.
And that was like the reason he said he wants to be the more influenced by that TV show than the comic book.
And the funny thing is when they went for the She-Hulk, they really went for like a 1-to-1 version of it, but with like Jennifer Waters in it. So this was quite funny to see at that point.
Yeah.
In this one show, but I think having a mixture of both kind of made sense, just like to get the comics, comic readers in it, and also like the TV guys in it. I wasn't really bothered by it. I was
more confused by the beginning. Until later, I finally understood what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's partly what's going on. Like, the issue with the beginning is that you don't really understand David Banner's motivation for any of this.
Yeah,
and honestly, throughout the entire movie, you don't understand his motivation.
I think he wants to make like immortality, like he wants to surpass God. That's what he wants to be. He wants like power. That's what they're trying to explain.
Yeah, but then he's
because if
go ahead.
We can talk about the ending. What happened? So
I was gonna say, but like it doesn't. He like six dogs on the love of his son. Because why?
They needed an action sequence. That's why.
Yeah.
But why does he explode a nuclear bomb in the middle of like the desert then for some reason? Just because his experiment is getting shut down?
He explains it later why. We can talk about it. Because he says that, I'm trying to save my son because he has in it. I'm trying to cure him. But instead, your father, he shut down the experiment.
Yeah,
but I didn't understand. You're right. I didn't thought of why the explosion, he had to blow it up.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the explosion was...
like, stay...
Oh, you were talking about the explosion?
Yeah. No, I just going to say that the explosion was not like a big explosion also. Like, when you think of nuclear explosions, like it had the mushroom cloud, but it was like tiny mushroom cloud
this
a mile away.
Lots of green explosion, man. You mentioned the dogs, man. When they blew up, man, that's some bad special effect. Did you notice what happens to the dogs? When they explode, they disappear and they turn to like green dust. Like magical.
This was like...
What the hell am I watching? Also, why would you, if you want to have like hinge dog, why do you have a poodle? I mean, I'm not a dog guy, but are poodles really for attacking people?
I'm sure some are.
I mean, I don't know, but you think of German Shepherd or something like this, or a poodle?
It's just what was at the shelter at the time.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what he could get his hands on.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, also, speaking about that, what happened to, you never showed what happened to the Hulk rat. Remember, there's a scene where he's experimenting with the rat.
Oh, that exploded. That was just off screen.
Yeah, he never showed her what happened. No, that was before
No,
he
I mean
infected.
you just had like big bubbles appearing there, and I think before they cut away, they were saying like, okay, this is going to be if you're
I'm not
showing
talking about the
just one
frog. I'm talking
millisecond
about the
later.
rat. The father. Remember, there's a
Rat.
scene before he infects the dog. He tested on a rat.
Oh, I basically forgot about that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it means nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even also that was a weird scene because even that scene, remember how the dog were able to find Betty because of her scarf. Because that scene was weird because I thought she hit the scarf, but then later I found no, he grabbed the scarf from behind her. That was
Yeah,
a weird way that I did not see it very well.
yeah, I didn't see it very well either because I thought, yeah, originally that she had her scarf, was like just keep it behind her. I'm like, oh, what's she gonna do with the scarf? And then he had the scarf.
Yeah, like I said, they're trying to establish like the action scenes with the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was that? What was and Josh Lucas playing what every other Josh Lucas role he's been playing an a hole.
Oh, yeah.
Talbot, and I was coming
He was in
from
Agent of
now.
Shield, right?
Exactly. I'm coming now from the Agent of Shield side. He was played there by Adrian Pasta, if I remember correctly.
The guy from Near Dark,
And
right?
also Heroes. He was
Yeah,
like the Petrelli,
he was
the
also
bigger
in
brother.
Supergirl, I think one of the seasons, also playing like a rich, like billion tycoon, like rich guy.
Could be, but he was playing Glenn Talbot throughout. I think he started in season 2 and he ended up in season 5 as the big villain there, because he transitioned to I think Graviton. This
Are you naming a
super
transformer?
villain. No. There was basically another. So they merged like Glenn Talbot with some other supervillain there, and he was basically one of the like he could be destroying the gravital structure of the Earth. So basically, whenever he's like in the center of the of the Earth, he could change gravity in such a way that the entire mass of Earth is just like being displaced and just like explodes. And
It sounds like the plot of the movie The Core. That's,
yeah, something like that. And season 5 has lots of like time travel stuff and stuff like that. It's
how many seasons is
basically
it? 7?
7.
Yeah.
And some of the fans were saying like that season 4, season 5 ish, basically the point where like the MCU diverges from what's happening in Agents of Shield. And I still love the show, but like seeing like this Glenn Talbot, he was just like the basic stupid asshole of the week, but he's played really well that way.
Yeah, I would say the actor definitely played douchebag very well.
I mean, he played this a lot. He played even Ford v Ferrari, remember?
Yeah, exactly. And
He was better in Ford
I
v
was thinking
Ferrari
like
than this.
I was thinking like I know this face.
He also had recently had
looking for
he was also in recently the movie with a giant shark, on an oil rig. He has a movie.
yeah.
Oh.
And like when I saw that he was in Ford v Ferrari, and I know he was like the manager from marketing.
Yeah, he hated
Oh,
Christian Bale's
I
character.
hated this guy. I hated this guy because Ford v Ferrari. At that point, I was in the automotive industry working, and for me, this was not really like Ford v Ferrari. It was managers v engineers,
Yeah.
and he was one of the managers. So I really hated this guy.
That's understandable. That means he did a good job also, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
besides Ford v Ferrari and this movie Hawker, I also saw him in that. Remember, there was an AI plane movie that had also Jamie Foxx and Jessica Biel in it. Remember?
Oh,
He was the lead in that film.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that was one of the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that movie and
Stealth.
I was
Stealth.
and I remember
Oh, right.
they were hyping up like Jamie Foxx, like he's the lead in the film because he just came out right heel of the winning Oscar for Ray. It's like, oh, he's actually
Also Sam Shepard in it.
oh
Oh,
the late Sham Sheffer. Yeah. What was he? Recently I saw. Was listening I saw. Oh, he was in Cold in July, if not mistaken. But it's also another good film. You should guys check it out. It's him, Michael C.
I
Hall, and Don Johnson. That's all I'll say. Because the one of these
I
movies,
oh,
like the less you know about, the better.
I
cool.
basically know him from
The right stuff.
we had in no as a writer he wrote True West.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the plays that he wrote, and we had this in the last year in school as in during English lectures at our school, where they had like contemporary plays, and
Yeah,
this was one of those things.
it's a
And
very, very popular play. Very, very
Yeah,
popular.
let me check. I have to check. Was he in? Oh yeah, he was in Mud. He played, I think, Matthew McConaughey's uncle in that film, Sam Shepard.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's actually a good actor, Sam Shepard. So
Yeah.
we're talking about Josh Lucas. Yeah, then who else was?
Yeah.
And I will admit, I was actually surprised to see what I know. He appeared in once, I think, two scenes in the film. Daniel, a pre-lost Daniel Day Kim. He was
Oh,
actually
yeah. He
Hmm.
he showed up. I'm like, what the? Wait a second.
that he did. That
Yeah,
was
no,
before
he.
Lost because he's already
It
now.
would have been like right around,
I
yeah,
think
just
Lost
before
came
Lost
out
started.
2 years later, if not mistaken, because he's been doing recurring
Yeah.
stuff on I think Angel and ER. He was appearing in that. Uh, because he's been a working actor, he's working several so much before he got lost.
He looks exactly the same in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, he always looked good. Like,
Yeah.
he also looked the
Oh, yeah.
same when he was an episode in Seinfeld. There's an episode I don't know if you guys remember, like Kramer, like
I
he
don't
played.
remember that.
It's basically they hire people like to come to medical school and they have to act and the student have to guess their condition. He played one of the students and Kramer's like he had to play like, oh, I'm suffering. You
Oh,
have to describe what he's suffering and then the students have to guess what it is.
yeah, I remember that episode. I don't remember him in it. I'll have to
He's,
rewatch it. That's a good episode.
yeah, I think Daniel tweeted that video a long time ago on his Instagram. But I
That's
remember
funny.
he's the one who guessed the disease. Oh yeah. Yeah, because
So,
we're talking about Glenn Tabler. He was trying to acquire the study like Bruce and Barry's study, and then Sam Elliott he finds out about it through him, and he finds out because he tells us because we find out that Bruce has been living under a fake name like not Bruce Banner because he got that.
well, not fake name, but like his adoptive
I was gonna
parents'
say,
name.
um, who's this
But yeah,
actress who
not
plays
Bruce
his
Banner.
mom? She looks familiar.
I don't know. She looked familiar to me too, but she was also in one scene, so I stopped thinking about it.
Yeah,
Cara Bruno. She was in The Sopranos,
Hmm.
I mean she looks like
Stranger
someone from
Things,
this. Because,
Yeah,
Stranger
Sopranos,
Things,
yeah.
Mad Men.
yeah, and then
Oh,
that's
maybe.
That's where her father like he tells her about like Bruce like you don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And of course we get the exploration where he gets infected then, and then we also find out that
Which
go ahead.
the whole point where like, yeah, Bruce saved his teammate, who we never see again, by the way. We never see the third guy that was there
I
helping
think
make
he
the
died
nanomeds.
because you see his love. I think he
No,
might.
no,
No, he just
no. Jennifer
no.
Connelly said that he's alive. He's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, but
But
we
like the
never see him
way,
again.
yeah, never see him again. But the way that, yeah, Eric Bana blocks the gamma radiation doesn't make sense because it could have easily gone around him to the guy.
No. If you have gamma radiation, then basically everything in front of you basically absorbs the entire radiation. If you have like a piece of like paper between you, it could already like block some of those things.
Okay.
But do I exchange it with alpha radiation? Something like that.
I mean, this whole movie doesn't
having to
give a
look
good
it up again.
explanation. So anything you say will give you an explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's a much better explanation than whatever the movie has said.
Yeah.
I think it was alpha radiation, what I try to explain right now, but yeah.
Either way.
No, explain what
Let's
was the
just
explanation
say
they're
that,
trying
like,
to create? Like, is it like, do you want to use radiation to heal like in wounds?
They call them nanomeds.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so basically, you're trying to have like injection with some kind of thing, like medicine stuff, and then you have to like attract it with some radiation at that point.
Basically, just try to find the
activate them.
yeah.
Yeah. Because we saw like the frog would blow up. I would say that was a very graphic scene. I mean,
It was very graphic, and again went on for a long time.
Yeah, I was saying like if they would have shown like 1 millisecond more of the scene, it could very well go into R-rated.
I mean, we
Yes.
got to see Bruce's ass. That almost could have. They didn't got an R-rated.
Yeah.
Even the way they made sure that you don't see his fronted side of Bruce when he's naked. Because they make sure like the crack is exactly right on Bruce to make sure nothing is shown.
Yeah. Also like when he transforms back and you see like Eric Bana rocking around, and conveniently like this whole thing is like blurred out by some kind of thing on the window frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see, what was it? Oh yeah, because do you know how long it took for the Hulk to appear in the film?
It took very long.
it wasn't past the hour mark, but it felt like a long time.
It actually is about I think 42 minutes for the Hulk to appear. Because that was like because it was a very slow-paced movie.
Yeah, I mean, but let's just say it like that. It's a
the movie's I think it's 2 hours and 10 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, something like this.
Yeah, it's a very long movie, but it's an origin story movie. But then I mean, even Spider-Man itself took very long time just to get like into the Spider-Man costume at that point.
Well, I mean, when you think about this, Sam Raimi did have his style, but I think that here they overused the style a lot because Ang Lee, I think that didn't have the style because Sam Raimi knew how to use his style. Here it's like, I'm gonna do this style instead. It was more confusing that time because that's why when you compare the two of them, Sam Raimi knew how to use his style for the movie, and here it's like, I'm just gonna use what style they to use it. And also, I think I don't know if you guys seen it because Ang Lee did the mocap for Hulk. If you guys read about it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I remember when I was watching videos when the movie was coming out on TV, like they were showing behind the scenes stuff. Ang Lee did the mocap for Hulk. It was like it's not in the same room. It's like in a different room. In the mocap studio, he was doing it, and then they were implementing in the film.
Yeah, it really liked. I mean, can we just at that point talk about CGI in general?
Yes, we can talk about CG because
because
the word CG, if you want to say, is the Hulk. I'm not the Hulk. I mean the dog. The dog Hulk.
I mean, you really see like it. This is 2003 when this came out.
Mm-hmm.
When did Lord of the Ring came out? The movie? What? When did the Lord of the Ring movies come out?
2001 to 2003.
Yeah.
So this movie came out between Two Towers and Return of the King.
Because we had Gollum and at the same time I think we also had Scooby Doo, the first movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but in general,
2002,
like facial animation and texturing was still like ways off what they're right now. And if you're looking at whenever he's in frame in scene, it's either really dark, or when he's like in daylight, it really stands out. That's basically the texture that he has, just like a flat green without any like what you would expect from a human face, like wrinkles and like hair and stuff like that. You don't really see anything over there. It's just like blank.
I mean,
just green.
Make sure loves to use CGI. We see it later, like in Life of Pi, and what was the movie? Gemini Man. You know how much he loves to use CG.
Yeah.
And I think this was like introduction to him. Like that's like his first time using full CG in a film. Because before that, he mostly had to rely on because Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, they relied on wires and etc. for the action
Yeah,
sequence.
lots of in-camera stuff, but they explicitly said we are not going the Lou Ferrigno way. We are going like in a muscular version of
It
Eric
reminded me
Bana
like it felt like I was watching
way.
Hercules because they say that Greek mythology was inspiration for this film because I feel like they made him look like a Greek figure Hulk instead of Eric Bana. If you notice him, he kind of looks like with the hair and the face. And also, I read something that this is actually the tallest Hulk in the movie because he gets bigger the more angrier he gets.
No,
Yeah,
he's also like whenever he's getting shot at, that looks like that.
Speaking about shooting, I mean, do you see how he's having to like his body's like, why did he keep shooting?
And when they shot him, like it looked like it like flubbed off, like his skin was made of like balloons. It's like bounced off. Yeah, you think after a while they would stop shooting him. And my favorite part was like when they shot down all the rocks on top of him. Like, well, the missiles didn't kill him, but those rocks definitely took care of it. So they just left.
Yeah, because
not smart military people.
I mean, military have always been this type of era during this time. They always made them like not smart people. What was it? The Roman Emperor Godzilla movie. They always blow up a building in that film. And what else?
Oh yeah.
That's actually a good movie. You know what? If we ever do Godzilla, we should have Andy V on. I think that would be a good movie for him. Yeah.
Yeah, the 1996 Godzilla.
And also, speaking
No,
of
98.
yeah. They have what's his name? Puff Daddy sing a song like he wants to fight Godzilla.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Come with me. That's a great song.
Because this movie also has
Those.
okay. Speaking about Hulk, I also like the fact that after he transforms, he goes back to his house. He opens the door and he falls on the bed. Like he doesn't crash the door or anything.
Yeah, the whole after the first Hulk situation, and he just like is at home. He was weirdly calm about the whole thing.
Yeah, that's
when Betty was asking about it.
Yeah, because that's also because that's where when Sam Elliott comes in his fan and he starts investigating him. It's like we had the nice posting that you're following the same field as your dad, and he even tells like he met his dad because he's been chasing him. And also I forgot to mention, but I also like that scene when he's stalking him with the dog sitting beside him outside. That was a funny scene.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, having Nick Nolte be the dad, I get why, because they want him to be like kind of insane.
And it's funny
but
enough, this was actually. Remember the infamous photo he got arrested with? It was because he grew his hair because of this film. So I wouldn't be shocked if Hulk is the reason why he want to become all his drunk issues.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I couldn't take him seriously as like a threat because he was too Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
And very creepy, especially when Jennifer Connelly goes to meet him.
Yeah, goes to meet his house. His house is all in disarray.
Yeah. So that's what I think the military said, that we're gonna look over it because they want to arrest his dad and they think that he might be, because they know that they didn't know that he turns into a Hulk, but they said we're gonna look over it because we suspect that he might be responsible for this. And that's where he sends the dogs to go after. Then Glenn Talbot comes and he starts fighting with Bruce, and Bruce turns
into the Hulk.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he made sure that his cars get damaged. Did the neighbor's guy died when he kicked the car? Because he kicked the car to the neighbor's house. Hulk.
They did a lot of shots where they purposely afterwards had like some people, like especially the military people, get out of the tanks and stuff like that to show that nope, they aren't dead. They're just their vehicle just got injured.
Yeah. And they made sure there's a scene where Hulk he's he's squeezing like get out. When
Yeah, exactly. But like one of the times I thought he killed somebody was like when he kicked Glenn Talbot, and his body like crushed against the house, and his neck snapped. Like you heard a snap or like a bone breaking or something, and like, oh well, he's dead. And then a couple scenes later, he's fine, but has a boot on.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it they're playing fast and loose with like how much damage he's actually doing to people.
Yeah.
And this is one of the funniest thing in the film, Glenn. The freeze frame and the fire. It's like, what the heck is going on?
Oh yeah, when they're after they foam him, they eventually get. I mean, don't want to skip over. Yeah, just the dog fight. That was ridiculous, and they got into the trees like Crouching Tiger.
Yeah. Because apparently that was like in one of the scripts. They grabbed this like, oh, he fights like. Apparently there was one script where he finds like giant insects, but then that was not used. So they said they went with dogs, but there was another script with the dogs. So I went for the dog fight.
Did you also have the feeling like this cabin where he was going to, and where Betty was, kind of reminded me of the cabin that Bruce Tony Stark was in Endgame.
I think Tony Stark's cabin is bigger. I think
it reminded me strongly of that.
I mean, it's just weird that she was in a cabin at all.
That's weird.
This lone cabin in the middle of nowhere. That was just a weird choice, but I guess that they didn't want to have to deal with any civilians around the dogfight.
Also, I also love the scene where he grabs her the hook, and then when he sees the dog, he opens the door and then he shoves her in. That was also.
I don't know why she didn't leave, honestly, or like drive
see her, like,
somewhere.
She opens the door, I was like, nope.
Yeah, and then she does nothing.
Yeah, she's mostly in the car.
Like she could have, when the dog was on the car, she could have driven backwards away from it or tried to hit it with the car or anything. But nope, just sat there.
Yeah. And after this
fight, like you're saying.
Yeah, it's after this fight, the next day she calls her dad to come help because she's afraid of what he's gonna become. That's where we get like them taking back to the base, and they're trying to find that he has what's it called, a repressive memory.
Yeah, repressed memory.
Yes, they want him to remember, but he can't. They take him, and then and then her father Samuel tells her like Talbot, I mean he's screwed, and they acquired Bruce, and I can't stop them. Now this is all under him right now. They send her back, and then that's where Talbot he starts the experiment. And we get the fastback where we find out that, Bruce's dad killed his mom. Then he remembers.
Yeah, which again, that seemed rushed in the motivation of like, now I have to kill Bruce because they stopped my experimentations.
Yeah, I wanted to cure him because it was in him because I know he has the same energy that I am. And also we forgot to mention the way when he infects himself. That's actually some good CG with the hands, with the metal. I actually did like that scene.
Yeah, that was more like not Transformers, Terminator 2 to some degree.
Oh yes,
yeah,
that's why.
And I also like coming back.
Right?
Yeah. Coming back to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. connection. I immediately, when I watched it like 2 days ago, I immediately thought like, wait, this is Absorbing Man right now.
Because I read it. They combined some characters. They combined Absorbing with his dad. Because of course I don't know Absorbing Man now. He absorbs was it energies around him, or just anything?
Yeah, it basically changes the composition and then becoming like the surface texture that he's actually touching right now. So, like you're touching something metal, then you're becoming metal, stuff like that.
Like I said, that metal effect when his hands is inside, that was actually a good special effects scene.
It's like his hand got all heavy and stuff, and had to like actually pull it out, pull the fingers out. Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah,
after that, we get the experimental part where he remembers the flashback, everything, and then Hulk, we find out that Talbot and his company, they're trying to extract, was it his DNA because they wanted to use his Hulk's blood for experimentation, right?
yeah. I mean, it's the classic. The government wants the DNA so you could make
It's not,
super
I think, the government.
soldiers
It's
and
like a medical company who's in contact with the government, but it's the same
yeah. Either
BS.
way, though. Yeah, exactly. So they wanted his DNA, and then lo and behold, the Hulk smashes out of the tank that he's in,
Yeah.
and they can't stop him, and they end up foaming him, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, Samuel just like, just leave. It's not worth it. It's like I told him, like he died, and I told him. He's just like lying down everything. And also, I love the part that I don't know if you guys saw it, like after Glenn Talbot dies, Hulk, he escapes from the hatch, and there's multi people coming, they're shooting at him non-stop. You would expect, like we mentioned, that after the foaming part where they were shooting at him, they would know that rifles do not work at him. He actually, Hulk,
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that when he kicks like the wheel, he's pushing to the people. I like that some people were on the wall. The spider monkeys climbed. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
I actually was like, wait, that's the guy. What is he doing? It's very childish the way he's climbing on the wall. Because that made me laugh, and
That's wild.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then after he escapes, we have the whole Hulk versus tanks and Hulk versus helicopters,
yeah, because
where I don't know how far Hulk can jump, but it changes with each jump. Sometimes he'll jump like 100 yards.
it
Then other
depends
times
on
he'll
how
jump and
speed
just like
he's
float.
running.
Yeah, he'll float in the air for like a mile.
Yeah, he's more like Superman jumping stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually enjoyed the enjoyed strong word,
This
but
action
like
sequence was looked at as good, especially with the helicopter with the shooting him and he's walking, running. I mean, that was a good scene.
yeah, yeah, and I liked how he was running across and dodging the missiles,
Yeah,
bit the missile,
he threw.
bit it back at the helicopter. But again, the helicopter didn't explode.
No.
Now the people in the helicopter are dead. The helicopter just went down.
Yeah. And after that, that's when the rocket and they crash, and then but he escapes. They go to.
Hmm.
Were they the whole time in SF, the movie? Because I think. But
Yeah, later he walks to San Francisco. Then later.
no, because is
Yeah,
there a desert
they end up in
between
San Francisco.
Where's there was the military base? Because I don't know. Is there a desert in San Francisco?
No, it might have been like in Nevada because that's where they did some nuclear testing back in the day. So I'm assuming that's what it was.
How far is Nevada and San Francisco? Do you think?
20 Hulk jumps.
Maybe. No, I'll go with you. I like that
That's about right.
he lands on top of the Golden State Bridge.
Now, so when he gets to the Golden Gate Bridge, it is very, very like foggy.
Yeah.
Do you think they added that CG in, or do you think that when they're filming, it just
think
happened to
that
be
might have
really
been
foggy that
CG.
day? Okay, that's kind of what I figured too. But I thought, I'm like, man, they probably had to film in San Francisco, and it just happened to be really foggy that day.
I don't know but I feel like there might be CG because maybe they don't want to, they have to the city or stuff because they want to save money. Because the budget, how much is the film's budget? Is it 100 million?
137 million.
37 million. What was the Incredible
And
Hulk's
Fox-
budget? The reboot? With
The
Edward Norton.
reboot. Just give
Good
me a
question.
second.
Because 137, that's a
The
big budget,
reboot
especially back
is
then.
Basically the same. It was also
Oh, they're both the same.
137.5 up until
think-
150 million.
I think
so
I like
something
the Hulk
in
design in
the
this film more than the Incredible Hulk. What about you guys?
Yeah. This one is more brighter green.
Yeah.
Because I know
compared to
people had
the-
issue with him being very bright green.
Yeah, the Incredible Hulk is a little bit more darkish green, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
But the Incredible Hulk also has like actual texture on it, which
Yeah.
feels better.
This is
But
much
honestly,
better.
I was expecting to hate this Hulk, like the characterization of the Hulk, and you get used to the bright green very quickly.
Yeah.
Like it did not take me out.
Like I said, we already seen the worst CG that goes to the dogs. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
that's the worst thing. Yeah.
Yeah, those dogs were terrible.
And of course, that's where we also got the jet fighters, like where he takes them up to the sky, and we never find out what happened to the jet fighter, right?
No, and I'm glad you brought that up because the jet fighter definitely passed out going that high, and
Yeah.
jet just disappears. Like nothing happened to it. There's no confirmation that he survived or that anything like that happened. But yeah, it did, jet fighter. That jet fighter is definitely dead.
Yeah. And that's actually on Samuel because he tells him to go up in the sky, and if he says I can't do it, and he tells him look, continue doing it.
But also, like, that's not. I understand the logic behind that idea of like, yeah, take him to the sky and see how he deals with the the atmosphere up there. At any point, the Hulk could have jumped off. At any point.
I mean,
well, he only jumped up because he was about to crash on the bridge, and Hulk jumped in to save them.
Yeah, Hulk actually saved the guy initially. Yeah.
Yeah, but
the only heroic thing he did is in the film, I think. Unless you count him saving also Betty.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, it's similar to what's happening in the Iron Man movie in the first one.
Oh yeah.
When they're flying home and Ironmonger also tries to follow him, and the Tony Stark version of the Iron Man suit is basically better equipped for these kinds of scenarios, and it's basically a game of like who falls down first, and yeah,
because in the Iron Man he finds out how to solve a solution for him, because we see in the film like his suit gets frozen. It's like it's something he forgot to calculate.
Yeah, it's definitely done better in Iron Man. But I also wonder if they got the idea from the Hulk or they're just.
I mean, Feige was
an
executive producer because he was executive on this movie and the X-Men and Spider-Man. Like, he saw like how they handled before he started overseeing the movies with Iron Man.
Yeah.
So, and also, like we mentioned, some of the writers, in fact, that worked on these previous movies would go on to write another movies for the MCU. Zach Penn was one of them, like Kai mentioned.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. Like after the Hulk, fell off the jet into the water, and they're shooting the water.
I mean,
with
people
missiles.
are on the city. Are doing not question what's going on. There's no warning, evacuation stuff. Like,
and then somehow Hulk got like into the sewers, like crunching the street open.
Yeah.
I like the cars, like the dominoes under the cliff, they're falling nonstop. And of course, Betty tells her dad, "Look, I can't calm him down." So he sees her, he starts calming down, and they arrest him and they bring him to talk with his father. And there you find out that the only reason he wants to meet is because he wants to take his power and absorb it.
Again, the worst father.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this scene in the end.
That scene when him talking, it felt like someone filmed it from like a stage play, like two people.
Yeah,
that's what it felt
I
like.
had the exact same thing. It looks more like a stage, a theater play at that point.
Yeah.
Even the way they were acting and they're talking, the echo, everything feels like it's been shot on a stage.
Yeah.
And when I say stage, I'm talking
And
about
also
like a
the
stage theater,
editing.
not like a stage production. Maybe they just showed it, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, you were
no, you're right, Kai. The editing also just like it shot it like because everybody was watching it from a distance as if it was like they had terrible seats at a staged show.
Yeah.
And also, I like that the monitors they can hear them very clearly what he's saying. How was it?
And then we had some.
What do you say that they had to stop them? I don't know if the military microphones are that good.
Apparently, they're the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And then what is that there when you see him he started absorbing the electricity and then he kidnaps the Hulk and then they start fighting in the sky in the cloud. That was a very
Yeah,
good
and how the dad just like absorbs water, absorbs
the
gas,
rock.
like all of that.
Energy also well,
Yeah.
Hmm.
in the beginning.
Basically,
But
when his name is
at some
absorb, let
point,
him absorb everything.
yeah, I mean, at some point, I was thinking more like, oh, he's looking like Electro at that point.
Yeah,
The
I mean, yeah,
start of the movie.
they made him absorbing man, but they really didn't do much with it.
Yeah,
Like he absorbed a lot of stuff at the end here, but it still seemed
It's
like
like
the
we
Hulk
need a
had
bad.
it
That's why I say
under
we
control.
need a big bad fighting sequence. Like I don't know because I think absorbment was one of it was in one of the scripts he had. Just like, oh, let's see, who do we have? Oh, we have absorbment. Fine, we'll take this absorbment. We have him fight him with Bruce because that's what the
Hmm.
Angry and James James did. Like they had the scripts like multiple. It's like we're gonna rewrite it from all this. Basically, they Frankenstein the movie. What I
but
understand.
thinking about it, I mean, in the Incredible Hulk movie, then later on you're getting Abomination. I think this would have been like the most obvious choice here, because basically you're fighting yourself at that point,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
because like his father has like the similar experiments that he actually got himself.
That's what they did in the
So
video game for the movie Hulk because he fights multiple people who are just like the Hulk.
right.
yeah, but getting like absorbing man does not really like make logistical sense here.
No, especially since they have the very similar DNA, being father and son. They should
Yeah.
have a similar
Yeah.
reaction
Exactly.
to the gamma radiation.
Exactly. So in hindsight, I would have like seen better like Abomination at the point, but
You can
Yeah.
imagine that they could have made him Abomination instead. We could fight him. Maybe not make him look like Abomination. Maybe have him look like a more disfigured, maybe version of the Hulk. Like
Yeah,
what
I
was it?
mean,
The Joker Hulk from when Arkham Asylum. You know how he looked? Maybe make him something like this. That could have been a great look
yeah,
for that.
yeah, but yeah, maybe the dad got like some Hulk powers as well when he got exposed, but he's not as strong because he injected himself with the stuff, whereas Bruce is naturally born with it because of his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that would have made a lot more sense. But a lot of this movie didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Of course, like he turns into a giant bubble that day after absorbing Bruce's power, and then he gets blown up. They think that Bruce is dead, but if I know he's alive, he's in South America curing the people, and then the cartel came, and then he tells them that to not make him angry in Spanish. They won't like when he's angry.
yeah,
And also, I love
yeah.
the fact that
Did anybody-
the chameleon on his head turns green when he Sully is about to turn the Hulk.
yeah, the beard that was on Eric Bana, I don't
Yeah.
think that's his actual facial hair because it did not
Yeah.
match at all.
That looked really fake.
And
Yeah.
that ending is funny enough. Feels very Men in Black, like the first movie's ending. It's also Danny Elfman also scored the movie. So that's why if you listen to it, it sounds very similar, like the ending of Men in Black.
It did. I didn't mention it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the funny thing is like even though the Incredible Hulk is basically some kind of reboot,
Yeah.
it's also like a soft reboot and also like that's where this movie ends, basically. And so it's very interesting to see like.
Well, the Incredible Hulk did the right move, where he's like, you know, we're not gonna do original stuff. We do the original on the flashback in the opening credit. You see
Yeah.
him turn into the Hulk,
Yeah.
and then you understand why he's. They did a bad.
Yeah, I mean,
That flashback did a bad
mean-
job explaining his origin than this movie.
yeah, I mean, theoretically, if you could have said that the Incredible Hulk is a direct sequel to this movie.
Or direct sequel to the TV show because the way he turns is like this.
Yeah, but you could have like if you don't have like the initial montage in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
you could really well like say everything that was happening in the original Hulk movie is basically canon to this movie. But I mean, it's okay, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea to have the Incredible Hulk, have him be in South America and just kind of continue on this.
It's like he was in Brazil.
Because
in the
that's all you
beginning
need.
of the first, the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Because I remember
Right.
right now. But if I'm not mistaken, Brazil they speak Portuguese, and in this movie he speaks I think Spanish. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't. I assume it's Spanish, but actually I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this movie was long.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Honestly, I think
And
if the pace was a bit quicker, like with the scenes themselves, it wouldn't be a terrible movie. I'm not saying it's a terrible movie, but like yeah,
It's not as the worst
it
as the other movies we've seen a lot, but
yeah,
yeah,
I think coming back to saying like this movie, it's not really a fun movie. It's
yeah,
very internal. It's very like heavy on the themes. You've like the tension between him and his father, like stuff that he with his repressed memory and stuff like that. Also the stuff that he goes with like Betty. There's a lot of subtext in there, and coming back to the comparison to the comic book movies that you would have at the early 2000s. You would have like the X-Men, you would have the original Spider-Man movie. Those were fun movies where you had some kind of like in jokes, quirky messages, stuff like that, and actually being fun. And if you have a hero like Spider-Man, you really want to be Spider-Man if you are in the viewing seats, and you really think like, oh, I could be Peter Parker. I want to be Peter Parker. And when you're sitting in this movie, say I don't really want to be Bruce Banner
I think nobody wants to
because
be the Hulk because it's not it's like more if you look at his story in the
yeah,
comic books, it's more of a
I mean,
curse to him, like, and he wants to get rid of it.
yeah,
yes.
it's
But at the same time,
basically
the Hulk should be a fun character,
yeah.
smashing stuff, and like that's the dichotomy of being a genius on one hand. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, really.
Because I think that's what it is a bit with the TV. I think they're trying to make it more in terms of the TV show because that's what most of the public know. It's like a guy who's on the run. He doesn't want to be the Hulk. He wants to get rid of it. That's what the plot of the TV show, right?
Yes, he is basically walking around through the entire US and just he's being a drifter more or less.
Yeah.
And then he's basically again coming into one town, seeing some bad guys, turns green, kills them, beats the hell out of them, and then walks to the next town. That's basically the show, and it's actually great at that. And and here it's really depressing if you think about it.
Yeah.
More or less.
But I think you nailed it, Kai. This movie is just not fun.
Yeah, that's what it is because it's not fun. Because and there's like because you want to see a giant fighting creatures like stuff. I think that's what people want to see when they see the link of the Hulk. But they didn't go.
And I think in hindsight, if you're thinking about like what would be the next iteration of it, I mean, you could go with Eric Bana at that point, making it a little bit more fun, giving him more stuff to do, some funny jokes, for example, some quips that he could get. But eventually they went for Edward Norton, and I think in hindsight this was a very deliberate choice because he just came off Fight Club at that time. I think they really went.
It was a good film, but it was not a box office hit.
It was, yeah, but the vibe of it's basically the same. He's basically
and got cult status also.
Yeah, not only that, but the main spoilers for a movie that has been a cult movie that has been released 24 years ago. It's a split personality story, and he has some quips over there. He's basically beating himself up in a way, just like if you could think of like Edward Norton is at this movie in Fight Club, he's basically the Bruce Banner character, and Brad Pitt is basically the Hulk in this kind of thing. So at that point, I see the choice saying like if you're going into this kind of psychological drama, you go for Edward Norton. But
also Edward Norton, like you mentioned, he loves the Hulk, especially the TV show. And he apparently whatever they wanted him for this movie, and he didn't like the script. He said, "No, I'm not doing it."
Hmm.
And then he got the Incredible Hulk. And then
Yeah.
I think
And then
he got in the clash with Marvel direction for the story. Then he left. They brought Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. They also had like other guys in line. It's a very interesting lineup there. They were considering Johnny Depp at some point, Steve Buscemi, David Duchovny, Jeff Goldblum,
Because of
also
The
Tom
Fly?
Cruise for some kind.
Did
I
you
feel like
guys
Tom Cruise
saw-
is
you guys-
always considered.
Yeah.
I mean, right now there's a rumor
But-
that he's being eyed for a DC film. Tom Cruise. There's just a
What?
rumor. It's just a rumor going around. Some website not just start releasing it, and people are going with it. It's nothing concrete in about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one time there was a article saying that DC before I think what was it when they were reconstructing after Justice League, like they were eyeing Michael Bay to direct a Lobo movie.
Oof.
Still hoping for Michael Rosenbaum to reappear as Lex Luthor, but that's
Yeah.
just me right now.
And apparently, if you saw what he said, like he said he's gonna make him more accurate, like he's more of a threat. He said that he likes Gene Hackman in Superman, but he said he felt like he's a little bit goofy. He said, "I want to make him like a threat, like
Yeah.
Luthor." Sounds
Yeah.
like he wants to go with the animated series route, what they did with Clancy Brown. Because I think it's the best
Right.
portrait of Luthor.
I really enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Rosenbaum must be like the closest to live action, the best portrait of Luthor on
Yeah,
live action.
he's the best live action version. Yeah,
I mean, the less said about Jesse Eisenberg, the better. I mean, and it's not the actors first; they actually the material they gave him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a better Lex Luthor from him in the Social Network than the the Batman v Superman movie. So you know what's the rumors about who do you think is eyeing for Lex Luthor? James Gunn.
Who?
Well, they say that he wants to get some. Say he might go with what Richard Donner to get an unknown for Superman, but get a name for the rest of the cast. Most of it Lex Luthor, because they got Gene Hackman and then they got Christopher Reeve. I think they're saying he's eyeing what's his name, Bradley Cooper for Lex Luthor.
Bradley Cooper.
That's the rumor right now, but it's not very accurate. Because they say that they say that he might get one of the actors from the Guardians film to be in the film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think when is Comic-Con is happening? Is it next month?
July next month. Yeah.
July.
So we might get an announcement by Comic-Con, and I think because Father's Day we're having it tomorrow, right? Is this week Father's Day, right?
Yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. But that's where he said he's gonna start auditioning, like meeting people. So expect maybe by Comic-Con we might hear an announcement who's playing Superman and Lois.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We already got the
yeah,
Batman announcement that
maybe
Batman Brave and the
that
Bold,
could
what's his name,
also be
Andy
a little bit
Muschietti, who did
too early.
it. What did you say?
It could also be a little bit too early because remember when the MCU announced like the Phase 3 when the heavy rumors were saying like Benedict Cumberbatch was like playing Doctor Strange and
Well, they
so it's
originally
basically-
wanted Joaquin
it's
Phoenix.
basically locked. Yeah, but they basically already locked him in, but they had some like contract negotiations until like everything was finalized. I think if they would be starting like contract negotiations or
I think he might
casting
already
right now,
James Gunn. Maybe he already met with some people, but now I think it's final negotiation auditions right now. Maybe he said by Father's Day, because he
Yeah.
said I think the
But-
movie is coming out the same day. I think his father's birthday, and James Gunn mentioned the Superman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice if this would be ready by Comic-Con, but I personally I
knows?
could also like
Also, we don't know if it's gonna be Comic Con
for-
because now with the
for
writer's
New York-
strike that's happening.
Exactly. I mean, there's also like New York Comic Con where you could drop something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, all right. Or Fab, did we give what our final score for Ang Lee's Hulk?
Not yet.
Do you guys want to begin first, or do you want me to begin?
What's the score out of?
It used to be like I would go redeemable, unredeemable, but for this film, like I don't know. I mean, it's not like a worst, but it's more of a boring film.
Yeah. I'd say slightly redeemable, but
Yeah.
A low redemption.
Not enough.
That's what we'll say. A low redemption.
yeah.
How about you, Kai?
I would be saying like historically it's a important movie, but
Mhm.
it's not. Again, as we said before, it's not a fun movie.
It's not.
It's really like long scenes and long scenes and long scenes and heavy on the themes, and maybe it's a little bit too heavy on the themes here and there. So I also would be saying like slightly redeemable at that point.
Yeah.
It's not one of the most terrible things. I mean, if I had to score it, I might give it maybe out of 10, maybe a 6 or a 5 or 5 or 6.
I would
something
be also
like this.
like
It's in
a
the middle of
6
the
would
road.
be okay.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, it's not what was it now? Because there have been some movies I was like, I'm not going to review them again. What was it? The Dungeon and Dragon, the first one. That's a movie. It's not worth talking or revisiting.
I would have gone for that, but because I haven't seen the first one, but
Watch the second one instead.
as a someone who has lots of Dungeons and Dragons books, like that would be
Yeah.
something.
And I saw it only once. I think recently I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not reviewing this.
That's fair. That's fair.
This might be actually as bad as the Love Guru 2 movies, but if I had to pick, I'd pick the Love Guru over this because at least there were some stupid moments of Love Guru that made me laugh. But being Kingsley does in that film, it's like, okay, man, how the hell are you desperate for money to do this stuff? This is also for Andy because I know he loves the Loves Guru for the wrong reasons.
I believe that.
Yeah. And he's waiting for that because you know how much I hate that movie. Yeah.
Ever seen it?
It's better for you not see it, trust me.
I figured.
Yeah, it's better to watch Cat in the Hat over this, Love Guru. Yeah, and I think that's it for today's episode. I mean, we said no more. I would recommend people to make sure to listen to our first 30 minutes, which guys say most important stuff and more fun than the actual movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But seriously, guys, what Kai says is very important about reservations and stuff. That's actually people I think all should care of, especially with movies. Like, we're going to lose stuff if we do not actually save them.
Yeah.
Especially now, like you mentioned, streaming stuff. That's why a lot of people now are not. They're striking because they're getting rid of their streaming service. There's no physical copy. You can't have them, etc.
Yeah. Especially if you think about it, like we're losing more and more like the original raw material due to age and due to storage.
It's the same thing with video games, like they're going more digital and stuff. That's why a lot of people were not happy with Alan Wake 2's announcement being only digital. It was like, well, what about the physical copy? What if something happens? Like, how are we going to preserve
it's not only that, it's also like some games are being locked into one generation, for example.
Yeah, the self from the
looking
mobile.
at the just like the PS3 games. Just like because of the architecture of like how the PS3 was developed compared to what the PS4 and the PS5 are, which are basically on a PC
That's
engine.
actually my bummer. I wish they did define a solution because PS3 has some awesome games. I want to revisit them again. And sadly, my PS3 actually, I don't know if I told you guys, it stopped working years ago and I can't play them.
But the thing is, like they have some kind of workaround, so you don't.
You need
really
cloud.
have to
That's
go,
why.
like,
Unfortunately, cloud's not available in all the countries. Yeah.
That's the bad situation at that point. But
basically,
it's a convenient
push people
for them.
preservation. People try to reserve all the things media around it. I mean, even if it's the Love Guru, even if it's bad, but at least reserve it so that people can know how bad it is.
Actually, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I actually got a Kickstarter back, and I was funding something called 50 Years of Text Adventures, and that there was basically like what was happening like in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, up until like the last decade. How text adventures have been changed, and you look at back what's happening in the 70s and 80s. Lots of them are actually like the code is available, so you can like get the thing, try to compile it on your setup, and try to run it then, or emulate it. So even though it's really difficult like to get it running, you can run it actually. So this is actually good.
All right. So I think we should end it right now because we're about to reach 2 hours long. I think I'll be about to reach the same length of the movie, but I think we should end it. So Kai, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that at avo_credit.
Yeah, and Lee, where people can find you?
Same, all social media at Lee Pollero.
Yeah. And me, you can find me at MrYazMan300 Pro for all the podcast information on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. MrYazMan300 on Twitter. For some reason, Twitter's locked my old account, and I forget.
What?
That happened a long time ago. Since day one of their podcast, I've been saying it.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, that's before even Elon Musk came and bought it. But now that's another story. So until then, thanks guys for listening and watching or whatever you guys are doing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, wherever you are, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and what else is there? Google Podcasts, all the other streaming services you can watch. What did I say streaming service? I meant to say podcast services. Give us a like, review us, give us more views that we can get more attention to this episode, more people can join us, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye everyone.
Yeah. Keep